onto King Kong, but seeing his performance earlier on, that GPM, that 4-level lead, 4K gold difference against Fabian, that jungle is going to be a huge priority and a huge highlight in this next draft.
As we roll into this draft, Team Liquid ID on blue side once again, Onyx PH on the red side. Let's see how this is going to play out, because the Loyi and as well as the Phoveus have been banned out, followed up by the Joy. Onyx PH, let's see how they're going to play this out. Suyo going to be the priority.
Such a good ban from Onyx PH there. There you go. That's the adaptation made by the red side team. You just... Dude, I think this is the right choice. Suyo... I don't know why Suyo... In every MPL, Suyo has been the most picked hero. And I think he has had 100%, no, not 100%, but a positive win rate in every single region. Just goes to show you how good of a hero Suyo is. It's banned out, finally, thank goodness. Yehezkiel picks up that juice in. Ooh, Hanzo and Kalea.
Hanzo and Kalea. This is kind of interesting here, because at least with Hanzo, yes, we did see in game number 1 that it just forces Jushin to use that all whenever necessary. It really pushes her out of position.
Ooh.
Huh. Ling Hilda. Okay. Okay.
Now it makes sense, though. There's no Suyo, there's no Joy. You're going to have to battle the assassins out, right? So now it makes sense. In the previous game, why don't you go for Joy? Now, sure. What else you want to go for? Hayabusa, right? Hayabusa Ling. Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
Okay, I'll take it with a pinch of salt for now, because there's a couple of things that I'm worried about. Number one, do they have enough peel in the first place to deal with the Hanzo? We do see that the Hilda does get picked through. We'll see what position. It's most likely going to go for Aran, but we'll see in just a little bit as the Moskov gets banned out. Something of this thinking about as well for Aaron Shiki. Team Liquid ID could look to ban out mid laners at this point. Do they want to get rid of the Yve once more, or are they thinking something a little bit more bursty? Because they have to keep in mind that Ling has free access to backline.
Which is why the Moscow ban, I think, is really valuable coming in from Onyx PH. But I don't know. I'm worried. Technically, Hylos is still available for TLID to pick up if it doesn't get banned out. The Glue does get banned out by TLID here, as well as the TLID takeaway, because I was also wondering what Weedy would be playing. Is he forced on something like the Jawhead? Would it work in this composition right now?
I think it's not the best choice now. You already have a Juicin, right? Going for the Jawhead Juicin and then the Ling. The Ling isn't really isn't an early game oppressor, but yeah, I don't think they go for the Jawhead here. I think more of like a Gatot Kacha could come in together with the Hilda, then you follow up. But even then, the Harith is already a good choice against the Gatot Kacha. It'll just probably be a way to peel off the Hanzo, right? If they do go for the Gato. The Hylos does get banned out by Liquid ID. And on PH, you see here, I think a mage? What do they go for here? I don't think they want to go for Farsa. Maybe
is it? They just show the EXP, right? They should. They're going to take a. I'm going to take a wild guess that the Hilda's going to go on Aran, I suppose.
Yeah, should be Aran.
So I mean, it's pretty straightforward from that point onwards, unless they've already got a pick in mind for Kirk as well. Wait, no, tanks are going to struggle against the Jushin anyways. Tough call here, but it looks like they lock in the Sicilian early on.
So technically, it's one of the safer picks. Obviously, there's still the Aurora and like the Valentina against something like the Ling, but the Sicilian does have ways to kind of outmaneuver those kinds of dives, especially with the Bat Feast. But now for TLID, still need a hero that can be placed onto Weedy to help bridge in everything else that's already been put onto the table, as well as a gold laner for Aaron Shiki against the Harith. Granger is their option, and the Cho.
Okay. So technically with TLID, yes, if they want to burst down their target, sure, they're still going to have to play around their anchor anyways. But Onyx PH, the way that they're going to have to maneuver in these fights will be interesting. How are they going to decide where to pick and choose? Are they still looking for choke points, or is it just solely based on, hey, big ultimates are down, we have to look for this counter engage?
Yeah. And again, for Liquid ID, I was thinking the Gatot Kacha because it's a good deny away from Onyx PH too. It's the same issue again for Liquid ID. They have too much dependence on physical damage. Granger and Ling. Gatot comes through here with Revitalize. That's additional sustain together with the Kalea, and they already have a Harith, Hanzo. It's basically game one, but Onyx PH need to wait a bit longer for their snowball, right? It's not as instant as, the Suyo. It's not as instant as the Yve Suyo, but still, it looks like the same draft, just with more steps for Onyx PH.
It does, I'm not gonna lie, but I think even the scaling for Onyx PH is looking really good as well. It's gonna be tough.
Ouch, Miracle.
Viva
Ouch.
RQ. Cascute is such a good coach. I think, you know, RQ, I've always been a fan.
Always been a fan.
Always been a fan.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that as we come to the conclusion of TLID versus Onyx PH. I'll leave it up to you casters to take it away for game number 3. It's Turna and as well as Mirko, game number 3.
Thank you so much, Gideon, as we are going to take a look at the finale of this highly anticipated matchup. Drafts already coming in hot, already committed into. We're going to get an assassin showdown to close things out as we enter our final game in this best-of-3 series for the Snapdragon Pro Series Mobile Masters. TLID versus Onyx from the Philippines.
Zeta, ladies and gentlemen, into the land of down we go. Fabian back on the Ling. Type 1 in the chat if you guys think the Ling will work in game number 3. Type 2 if you think Onyx Peach are going to get it done again against the Ling. Brusco, man, that sustain is so deceiving. And you see it again. The deceptive healing sustain gets them first blood.
Miscalculations. That's what healing offers, right? And looks like they do have a little bit more of an advantage. Okay, a little pickup here coming through, but Super Friends is still able to get out. Meanwhile, we are going to be taking a look at the emblems.
All right, nothing too crazy. Everything really just the same thing as well. The Warcry from Fabian, the killing spree for Hanzo. It's different, no longer Suyo killing spree, but it's a Hanzo killing spree. It's something we did see in game number 1. Didn't really work out too well for King Kong, but it was up against a Suyo. Now it's up against a Ling.
Why
It'll
do you
be
think
different.
the Fabian, why do you think the Ling doesn't do well on killing spree? It's always been just Warcry for Fabian.
You deal more damage with the Warcry, yeah, right? Like right as you deal consecutive damage, you will be able to dish out more. On the killing spree, I think a lot of times for the Ling in the early game, if you want to look for Snowball, you gotta go for Warcry. If you play in Ranked, I think Killing Spree would be the better option. Again, because you should be able to Snowball in Ranked a bit easier. Up against Onyx PH, especially with the sustain, you need the additional damage over just, you know, the Killing Spree that you get because you don't deal enough early.
There are a lot of stoppers right now. King Kong.
Yeah, there you go. Forcing out types of blades. And that's the early Ling for you, man. Not enough damage. Definitely needs help for the emblems. And Onyx PH, I think with that, they get a free turtle.
That's the types of blades already taken right before they go for the neutral objective, but it looks like TLID are still committing to this.
Look at that healing coming down as well. Picked up a Lantern Flare, but it is a win overall for Onyx PH. They are able to fend off from this purple buff. Fabian has got the purple buff as well. Super Friends will clear out the wave to set up for the turtle.
Exactly, but on the other side, it looks like TLID are also buying a little bit more time maybe for TLID to come back. I guess the call is on Fabian now. Do they want to go for the 50-50 against King Kong on the Hanzo?
Whoa. Diving in on Super Friends. Lantern Flare coming in as well. Aran's doing a lot there, but will be chained. Sanguine Claws bringing him back again. It's going to be King Kong with Soul Snatch. Should be able to pick up the kill. Aran taking down the turtle. Not taken out just yet. AOG locks Fabian down for a bit. A stun and a Tsunami Slam. Forces out a Tempest of Blades. And now King Kong walks up again. Kirk, just so tanky. Brusco, wow. Following through on that Finch poise. He can jump on walls too.
He's not letting go of the Ling whatsoever. And this should be a free turtle now for the hands of Onyx PH. Despite the setup coming in from TLID. Who would have guessed Brusco Kalea being the answer towards Fabian? No fancy feat whatsoever here.
Finch poise. There's another new ability that can get on walls too. Follow it through as well. This time with a slam and a puddle.
1,800 gold lead now for Onyx. They're building up the momentum that they already have built for themselves. You can see King Kong already a level ahead of Fabian right now, and they're looking for some more.
Yeah, Friends with the flicker out there trying to read out with his movement. Soul Snatch! Good way the Dragon defensively to keep King Kong at bay and to stay alive for Witty. But all these plays have been very reactive for Liquid ID.
Yeah, unable to look for anything on the map, and this is the big question, right? What are you going to do with the Ling in the early portion of the game? Are you supposed to try and pressure Kelra in the gold lane? Look for a little bit more standing on for Aaron Shiki, who's currently struggling in the lane as well. He's getting zoned out as the Granger, and here comes finally the rotation.
Up top, Witty walks in, Tsunami Slam from Brusco. Oh man, now it's an all-in from King Kong. He's gonna go for the Aaron, shaky play, but no. Turns back around, goes over to Witty, Soul Snatch to take him down. That's King Kong with a corrosion sight early on, and Fabian can only just trade on the map.
Well, that's the example of TLID being the proactive ones. The insta shutdown, the insta lockdown coming in from Onyx BH as if they were already aware of what TLID were planning in the first place.
Okay, for the fight, Temps of Blaze used up. Super Friends actually caught overextending there. Finally, a Lantern Flare there for Kirk. That's the way to Dragon lock him down as well. Kirk, oh, that's the same with the taunt too. One last hit should do it. Up top, Kelra gets a kill out of nowhere.
That's a kill over. I don't think it was a solo kill. I think Super Prince was in... Sorry, King Kong was in the vicinity.
Oh.
But Brusco and Weedy in a 1v1 situation right now. King Kong is on the way. Weedy.
Tsunami Slam down to the ground.
Boom.
Soul Snatch Witty. Cut down by King Kong on the Hanzo.
He's at 0-3-1 already in the first 5 minutes of the game. So he hasn't been able to scout as freely as he would like usually on the show. And they are playing and they're working on with the lack of information that they already have. A little bit of, oh, damage onto Kelra.
He's good. Fabian wants to go for the dive, but look at the response from Onyx. Kirk with the AOG preemptively. King Kong holding on to the turtle earlier. Gonna be a retry battle as Fabian walks up close as well. King Kong in the shadow form. Retry battle, here it goes! It's King Kong who wins it. Witty with the Wage Dragon over, but it's only onto the shadow right now as the sustain comes in. As Fabian jumps in, that's a shutdown for Yehezkiel. Kirk staying alive in the team fight now with Revitalize as well, but it gets picked up. Lancer Flare still able to survive. Kirk gets saved by Kelra.
What? What is that sustain? What is that healing as well coming through from Onyx PH? Again, miscalculations are happening all over the board for TLID, and it's not as clear-cut and simple in these team fights because of it. Sure, the trade does come in. Aran gets taken down, but King Kong as well. But for the most part, Onyx PH are still holding onto the gold lead, but we do see a little save and grace coming in for TLID with the fact that they were able to trade in for a permanent structure in the top lane.
Onyx PH down to a 900 gold lead. It was looking really good for them in the start, but Liquid ID getting some solid shutdowns here. Great targeting from Witty to set up, facilitating that kill on King Kong. And a good eye too from Yehezkiel to just jump in with the Crimson Beacon. We're seeing Yehezkiel finally get online, something we didn't get to see in Game 2, unfortunately, due to the Suyo. But now that the Suyo is out of play, yeah, he's online, man. 3-0.
3-0-0 KDA already with one item, an elegant gem to boot, so a little bit more for him to utilize in this early portion of the game, but it's not a crazy gold lead that we're seeing between these two teams. If we take a look at it earlier on, it's still very equal on the board. But the problem is, for Onyx PH, they have the Sicilian, so TLID are working against the clock here. The longer this game goes, the more Onyx PH has in terms of damage. And we've seen the tools are there for them to help Super Friends on the Sicilian as well.
Look at this, Kirk. He's gonna be poked down by Aaron Shiki. Takes a good beating. Regens back up. Gold lead basically non-existent at this point. Both of the assassins fighting. And this time, Fabian actually getting the dub in the skirmish, forcing King Kong to rotate over to the team right now. Fabian continuing this push in the bottom lane. And King Kong will just have to go back to the orange buff. The Ling doing work in Game 3.
That's a good thing about the Ling, right? Really good rotations, high mobility, especially with the purple buff, so you are always able to have a little bit more pressure onto the far lane, and that's exactly what they're utilizing to their advantage here for TLID, considering, again, no Moskov on the board, so that is something that they have above Onyx PH. That turret goes down, and now Onyx PH have to do housekeeping. They send King Kong back down, should be able to come back into the fray real soon after he gets that purple buff.
Ooh.
Does Fabian have purple buff?
No, not yet. He's gonna go for the orange buff, and he's actually gonna rotate down below without the purple buff.
Huh.
Wants to have it by the time the team goes in. Onyx PH are hesitating to go for the Lord right now, and it's giving again, Fabian time to set up for the wave in the bottom lane and to go over the purple buff. So no force error from Onyx PH. It's actually a force error for TLID, but Yehezkiel does get poked down quite a bit. Wave slow pushing the bottom lane. That's the engage. Aran gets out of it. Brusco wasn't able to go for the Tsunami Slam. Now it's going to be Witty jumping in with a Jikundo. Kelra taken out by Aaron Shiggy. Seventh Blaze. Fabian diving in, getting them all over Aaron Shiggy to clean them up.
What? 3-4-0 trade now, ladies and gentlemen, in favor of TLID, as they are going to be the ones to be able to pick up the Lord to boot. Everything went perfectly for TLID in that team fight. Fabian, again, when he gets the space, when he gets the momentum rolling, he's always able to make these groundbreaking plays. In addition to the damage coming through from Aaron Shiki as well. Now, 3-1-0 in the 10th minute of the game.
Uh-oh, King Kong. Ooh. Still able to get the orange buff there. Gets the golden staff, third item. But Liquid ID have taken control of the game, and it's through the Aaron Shiki 3 stacks on Skypiercer.
Happy birthday, MLBB!
Tsunami Slam. And the taunt coming down. Aran should be down. There you go. Finally, a successful Tsunami Slam into a pickoff.
Which is great for Onyx BH, right? Because now TLID have to function this siege with one less member that they can utilize to their advantage. Sure, that that second tier turret in the top side does get taken down, but it's damage control for Onyx BH and not the best of scenarios for TLID.
No, fortunately not. The Lord advantage, I think, will go towards Onyx PH with this one. They'll be able to take back a bit of what they lost, but TLID do have a bit more control on the map now, and that's going to be great. Look at Fabian, a complete different, I mean, almost 180 from what we saw in Game 2. It was a 5,000 gold lead for King Kong. Now it's a 1,500, a respectable amount of gold that Fabian has over King Kong and the Ling. And it's been because the Ling has been able to clear out the waves in the side lane better. Better side control equals a better farm. Oh, that damage though, Winter Crown already. Fabian wants to go for the dive, doesn't have that. Witty forcing out the Purify. Kelra with Zaman Force putting down damage now as Fabian dives back in. Top of the Blaze now used up. The Tsunami Slam not enough to take him down. Barely enough to get him out, Fabian. Whew.
But this is the turnaround point, right? This is the concern. The longer this game goes, the more Onyx PH will be able to get to that power spike. And we saw from the items reflected earlier that King Kong already with a Holy Trinity, right? We see Kelra already with a Holy Crystal as well. So TLID, they've been able to find that much success because they have earlier power spikes, right? With Fabian, we have Aaron Shiki as well. But the longer this game goes, the more difficult it is for TLID. And I think Onyx PH have been doing really great at holding their own, only limiting it to a 3,000 gold lead after 12 minutes.
Oh, Fabian go for the solo on King Kong, has the shadow to keep him alive. King Kong gets him out of there. 20 seconds though on the Lord. 12 minutes in and Liquid ID are gaining the momentum. Fabian about to hit his final item, that's the GDS as his 5th.
But what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about the timers for both of these teams?
Timers of the power spike?
Yeah.
I think it's great for TLID. They have a 3,000 gold lead right now in the 12-minute. For Onyx PH, they still have to wait up a bit for Kelra. He has the Holy Crystal, but he is going to have to get the Divine Glaive perhaps right now to deal with Aran. He's been such an impressive force, just walking up forward, soaking in the damage of Kelra. And again, getting space for Yehezkiel. Once you get CC'd by Yehezkiel, it's going to be tough because you're going to have to bait out the Purify. Oh, Aaron? Hard on the tough spot. Oh, that's an all-in over to Aaron Shiki! Brusco finding the angle, getting the conceal on as Kelra gets the Demand Force to burst him down with King Kong.
1-0 trade already. Aaron Shiki out of the picture, and this is not looking great for TLID this time around. Perfect opportunity for Onyx PH to step on the gas. You see King Kong.
Play the Dragon to lock him down. That's going to be the shadow already dealt with. Recalls for Onyx PH. They got to deal with this Fabian Ling up top, and it will be Super Prince sent to deal with it. Kelra Zaman Force coming down. It's still going to be, wow, Aran soaking in all that damage, getting a kill in the process, walking back in the bush and surviving, buying so much time for the team. Fabian has the retribution. King Kong is down, the Lord very low. It's going to be Aran still finding a way to survive for quite a bit, landing or not, getting away from the bad impact. Now Aaron Shiki looking for the play onto to the Lord. Fabian retrieves it, comes in time to steal it away from Onyx Philippines.
And this is the way this game goes. This is where the story lies in. TLID, despite losing 2 members, have been able to trade it around with 3. Aran, despite getting taken down, bought so much time for the rest of the members to kind of tunnel vision onto him. And the rest of the members for TLID were able to keep their eye on the prize, which was the Lord that they were able to secure. This Ling, causing havoc in more ways than one. It's not just the kill pressure.
Oi!
It's a lot of damage.
Finch poise over, Tempest of Blades used up. King Kong wants to go for it again. The Shadow's right there. Fabian could have gone for it. Kirk was right there to stop him from doing so. King Kong on the back foot again. The Lord in the mid lane marching down as Fabian deals with the wave up top. They're going to have a 3-way push.
They are, and it looks like it's going to crash down really easily. The saving grace now for Onyx PH is the fact that they do still have the Sicilian to go in for the clear. They do still have King Kong for the clear as well as Kelra. But it all depends. Can TLID look for a momentum to crack open this base?
King Kong back at it again. This time over to Aran. He does have the Soul Snatch. He will go over to Aran. The wave in the mid lane to be dealt with as well. But Witty dove a bit too deep and will get punished. TLID, unfortunately, unable to crack this base open.
That was the thing, right? The fact that Onyx PH still have Super Friends on the Sicilian. They have the range. They have the wave clear. It all depended on TLID looking for that opportunity, and I think Witty was looking for that, but it's not as simple because Kirk is still around, right? They still also have Brusco in the vicinity to properly peel for their team and be a proper protective layer for the team. So, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to crack open the base just yet, but the fact is, TLID will still be able to work with Fabian on the Ling, who can cause problems on the side lanes, especially now that we're looking at Onyx PH and how they're always grouping up together.
It's really tough for Onyx PH. They don't have that side lane control that they had in Game 1. Game 1, we saw almost a comeback happen through the Moskov, having the control in the side lane. And the Hanzo, though you can try to, hold the side lane, you can never really commit onto it like the old Hanzo, right? There's a certain amount of range, and even if you get picked off, the Ling can actually follow through. Your body isn't too far away from your Shadow now. So we've seen that a couple of times from Fabian. He deals with the Shadow, and he Finch poises towards the real body. That's why Onyx PH now are basically going to have to wait for, I don't know, play around King Kong. But it kind of forces them to play in the box. This time they only have one box. That being Kelra and Zaman Force, and TLID have so many ways to disengage.
Uh-oh.
Fabian. Tsunami Slam is ready! That's the Tsunami Slam, and he gets locked in! Tempest of Blaze! Oh, Fabian getting away just with 1 HP! Finch poise, and they get baited in the bottom lane! Aaron Shiki looking for the dive, going for the kill, but will be picked up as well. 1 for 1, both gold laners fallen. Soul Snatch over to Aran. King Kong looking for the kill, won't be able to do so onto Aran, as Fabian deals with the wave in the mid lane. Onyx PH unable to get the trade that they were looking for.
That nearly was so well played by Onyx PH, right? They knew the pattern coming in from Fabian and they utilized it to their benefit, and it should have worked had Fabian not outplayed that entire situation. Aaron Shiki unfortunately was at the wrong place at the wrong time, so the collapse didn't land as perfectly as they would have expected. But again, TLID still holding on to the control, considering that they didn't lose Fabian in the process, and now the Lord has just spawned into the Land of Dawn.
Sky Piercer for Yehezkiel. Very late Sky Piercer, but better late than never. I guess that means they have 2 Sky Piercers. That's pretty greedy if you ask me. But Liquid ID have lost quite a bit of stacks on Aaron Shiki. Maybe they just want these members to die. They've been able to get a lot of these members low from Onyx PH, but the final blow has just not been revealing itself. I think mainly due to the Revitalize of Kirk and those splashes from Brusco.
And now we're finally seeing the value of the Kalea, right? In these particular skirmishes. It's been so difficult going with like a pick-off centric kind of playstyle or a skirmish heavy playstyle against the Kalea is not as straightforward as you would expect. Fabian!
Another attempt. This time unable to get the Tsunami Slam in time. So he pops in the Tempest of Blades, reads out that position. King Kong walks up to Witty. Going for poke, but not much poke there. Brusco walks up, gets poked down. Kelra, Zaman Force over Rashigi! Solo killed by Kelra! Surprise from the bush!
Best setup that they could possibly imagine for Onyx PH right now, and it looks like Fabian, not understanding this, is going straight for the global pressure, going onto the side lanes, but King Kong is there. Is this a reset? Onyx PH, Aranshiki's not there. They don't want to step on the pedal?
Too Fabian can again push in the top wave. King Kong is the one that gets sent to deal with it because I think he's the only one that can. Aran walks up, trying to buy some time now, jumping over to Super Prince. Yes, Keel caught in the bad spot, has the Crimson Beacon, still holds onto it. Fabian recalling in the bush. Doesn't have the purple buff. This is an angle of attack for Onyx PH. Aran looking to open up this Lord. King Kong is in the vicinity of Fabian as well. Retreat battle coming in. King Kong winning it out. Tempest Blaze used up over to Kirk. Still the AOG to escape. Aran won't be fortunate enough to run away this time with the immortality being popped, with him being isolated from the team. It is Kelra with a Synchro Fission to take Aran out with the Evolve Lord marching down below.
Big, huge advantage for Onyx PH right now, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into the 20th minute of the game. And remember, with these pushes coming through, it is going to be heavily favoring Onyx PH. 20 minutes in? How many stacks does a Sicilian have?
Not too sure right now. He's been stacking up a storm. He's only been taken down once, so not a lot of time, you know, seeing that gray screen. He's just been popping off, farming everywhere.
And that's going to be something that TLID have to deal with in addition to everything else that's been launched at them. We see that the Lord is marching down into the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Fabian's still trying to push in that top inhibitor turret, but this is imminent. The inhibitor turret has got to go, and that's the damage now of a 21-minute Sicilian.
Look at Zaman Force gone already. Witty will lose his immortality. Super Fritz gets a bad impact, finding a Rashiki. Now it's all up to Fabian, but he won't be able to dish out enough damage to take Super Prince down. Yehezkiel putting the Lancer Flare down, trying to zone them away when Zaman Force comes back up. That's a Lancer Flare to pick him up, but Kelra's going wild again on the Zaman Force. That's another Aran Folly. Fabian has the immortality, but not for long as Kirk slams down on him. Super Prince will survive, buys the winner crown in time. Yehezkiel has the Sky Piercer. That's a lot of low HP bars, and he gets one. Prince down, but it's still 4 members left to deal with. It's a jump over to Yehezkiel. This time he doesn't have that Purify, and it will be Onyx PH claiming the reverse sweep against TLID.
GG, well played. A tightrope of a game, but it's going to be Onyx PH who are able to walk away as victors in our 3rd series here on Stream A.